Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request for Joseph. Thank you so much. I appreciate when you and everybody else who sent in requests. Thank you. Very kind of you. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, whether it be a topic, a movie review, a re-review, commentary, reaction, a video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, streams, commentaries, tier lists, rankings, reactions, whatever the case may be, feel free, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Now, this was a film called Gypsy, which, when I got the request, I kind of went, what is this movie? Came out in 1990. Because I never heard of this film before. So I started watching the film. It's for free on YouTube. And then I heard the music. This Casio low-budget music. And I went, wait a minute. And then I saw these blasé, nothing titles. Basic titles. And I went, wait a minute. And then I saw the director's name. Amir Shervan. The director, Samurai Cop. And I went, that's what it is. It's from the director, Samurai Cop. Which I know he did a film called Killing America Style. Or American Style, I should say. Samurai Cop, this film, I think he did like 5 films, give or take. This guy, he's a very terrible director. Pretty much it's a very simple plot where you have bad sound design. It sounds like everybody's either dubbed or they had to something. If not dubbed, then something about the sound quality. And then like people, the way they say certain lines is just not quite. Because you have a guy who directed the film that is not from these parts. He's from overseas, and he thinks this is how Americans talk, and it's not quite how we talk. And he figures, well, as long as I have a lot of shooting, I'll have like a bunch of extras. Sometimes you don't know where the hell they come from as the bad guys. Shoot, they fall down, shoot, they fall down. Have a couple scenes of some titties, and then that's all you have for a movie. Now, maybe, but a little bit of competence could help too. Casio Rock, basic titles. Must be the makers of Samurai Cop. I was right. Now, the star of the film is a guy named Harold Diamond, who I think starred in Killing American Style. Is it America or American Style? What the fuck? Who cares? I'm fine if I'm wrong. Harold Diamond starred in that movie. He starred in this movie. Now, I'm sitting there going, I know this guy looks familiar. I looked him up. He's the stiff fighter in Rambo 3. Remember? I mean, I love Rambo 3. The stiff fight, Stallone fights the guy. The guy he's fighting is the star of some of these movies. Now, this is 1990, so maybe the guy saw... Well, I mean, Matt Hanna, or however the hell you say his name in Samurai Cop, he was Stallone's, like, bodyguard or whatever at one point. Or security. Maybe security. Bodyguard, security, one of those. And now you have a guy who was in a Stallone film, so I guess Amir just was a big fan of Sly and said, who can I get from these folks? What folks can I get from this guy? So the plot of the film is Harold Diamond. I'll just call him Harold. Well, his character name is Montana. So I guess I'll call him Montana. He goes in, I guess, to sell his horse. And the bad guys go, hey, the gypsy's coming. I'm sitting there going, why do they call him a gypsy? Now, to be fair, when we think of gypsies, we think of what we would see in the Wolfman and but they're also how do I put it, a nomadic traveler, which is I guess is what they're going with in this. But no one really calls that gypsy. I mean, that could be a technical term, but then just call the film Nomad. Like, that would have a better fit than Gypsy for an action film. What sounds better as an action film? Gypsy or Nomad? I know there's a film called Nomads. John McTiernan. Wasn't that good of a movie. But there just could be Nomad. But, I mean, I guess they're like, hey, call it Gypsy. Which, again, doesn't really fit for an action movie title. That doesn't scream, what action movie tonight? Gypsy. Okay. And Montana, he's dressed in this vest. He looks like he's a bouncer. he looks like he'd be a bouncer. So they don't give him enough money. So he's like, okay, I'm going to take my horse back. So they try to fight him. Now, I think Harold Diamond does know a bit of martial arts. He definitely showed it in the stiff fight. I think he do a little bit of kickboxing. Does he throws like some decent kicks? It's just the way it's directed is pretty poor. Like there's one point where the character, I think it's supposed to be doing like a whirlwind kick, but the way the director has it is they're not doing like frame like this. Instead of you have the camera back, have him do the full whirlwind kick, he's like and then maybe it'll show a wide shot and he does like some other kick. I'm like, what are you doing, Amir? But he fights some guys by the hay. Just me. What do you say? Including a guy. He has like a hat that says #1. So, I like nice hat. #1. I'm like, I try to read the rest. So I don't know what he's a #1 of. He's not the #1 henchman because he gets picked off pretty quick. But he's #1. He beats a couple of them up. Very, not the best choreography. And then it cuts to, apparently there's this land baron who's taking people's lands. And there's this one girl, please, please, don't take our land. We've been here for so many years. My dad's in the hospital. It's like, gonna foreclose your place. But then he starts kind of touching her. Now the girl, I don't know if she's supposed to be crying, but I swear at times she looks like she's laughing. So she has this face like, I'm like, are you crying or laughing, lady? I guess you get the idea that he beds her, but that doesn't really amount to anything. And I believe that land baron was the captain in Samurai Cop. Listen, you motherfucker, you know. I think it is the same guy. Because I recognize a few people from Samurai Cop in this. There's that guy, and there's another guy which I'll get to. So then it cuts to like these two ladies who are splashing water, and then these decide to take their shirts off to show their titties. I don't know why. Does that happen a lot? With Amir, the director, like, you think we just, ladies just, they'll go a little pond, just have their titties show off and splash water at each other? And there's these three guys watching. There's a guy who looks like a low-rent 2-bit Matthias Hughes, if he's much smaller. There's a guy who I think is Asian, but the first couple scenes, he looked stoned. It's like, and then there's another guy. They try to grab the girls, but then the girls escape, and they chase after it. The acting is terrible. Yeah, just follow her home. And they follow and they attack the lady, and then like someone goes to help and they get stabbed, and another guy goes to help and he gets his ass kicked, so then Montana goes to help. And people wonder why I live in the woods. So the guy who got stabbed after he beats these guys up says, "Oh, please take my daughter and take her across Canada." And so he decides to do it. Apparently, there's no vehicle he can use. But they go to Union Station. And you tell they stole the shots because the camera's so far away. Because they don't want to get caught. The bad guys kind of chase them. Then it cuts away to some random field. And I don't even know what... is this supposed to take place in L.A.? In Utah? I mean, I guess... if it's close to Canada, I guess... does it take place in Montana? Like, where the hell does this even take place in? I don't even know. I mean, they're going to Canada, so I would imagine more north. And this for me is like they're at a Union Station. Then all of a sudden they're in the middle of the fucking woods because the field, because that way they could shoot guns and shit. And just the acting, you tell like the director probably told them, "Be more intense, guys. Where's your fucking gun? I'll get the son of a bitch." And a lot, Amir Shervan does this a lot in his movies, where he thinks that as long as people getting shot and fights, like that's all you need, but you need like a bit of style and good choreography and staging, and it's just not really the case in his movies. Like there's a guy with a machete, he's fighting and he gets the machete away. And that's the scene I remember where he does like a head turn, the lead guy. I'm like, why is it showing just this? So he doesn't kill that guy, but then he throws a machete and kills this guy, and you tell the guy's like just holding it, like, ugh. He's just holding it, otherwise if he lets go, it'll just drop on the fucking ground. He shoots a few of them, he's taking the girl to Canada, so the bad guys have a posse. Also, Stuart Whitman, who's been in a lot of films, older actor. He's a cop, a sheriff. He and the deputies follow these guys. And they also get a Native American tracker. But he is a gay, effeminate guy who I think is South Asian. Who, "Oh my God, how's it going? Oh, you're so handsome. Oh, I'll give stiff, doggy, stiff. Okay, let's go." And when he meets the lead guy later on, he's like, "Oh, you're so handsome." Or before that, there's a bit where the posse's like, "Hey, why don't you find us some food?" "Oh, I'm a vegetarian." He was in Samurai Cop. He also played a guy who's playing a very effeminate gay guy. But he had like one scene. I don't think his character even had a name. I don't know if he worked at like a hotel or something. Or something. I can't remember. I guess the director thought that gay means funny. So please add effeminate in your attractor. Yeah, and he's like wearing Native American garb, but he's clearly, again, South Asian. And what the fuck is this? And then also our lead guy, Montana, is one of the worser, is that a word, worser? He's a terrible hero. because he's on the run to get this girl to Canada, but he stops at his girlfriend named Jaja, not Gabor, to fuck her. Like, literally on the run, is like, hey, you stay here, and goes up and fucks her, just to have some titties in a sex scene. And then lo and behold, the bad guys find them and catch the girl, and the cops are like, hey, we'll bring you in. But of course, the bad guys shoot at them, and the girl gets away, and they all have to get away. Later on, he does it again, only by a river, and then him and the girl, Jaja, start fucking standing up. And the girl who wants to get to Canada is watching from far away, and then lo and behold, they get found again. And the girl almost gets caught this time. I'm like, you suck, dude. You sucked at your job. And it's just a lot of... It's kind of funny to watch in a bad way, I will say, with Amir Shervan movies. Samurai Cop is still his creme de la shit. The creamy cum of the crop. I say that way because I wouldn't want to be near it, and neither would you. Unless you're that, like that Native American guy in this movie. Oh, Native American, I'm sorry. South Asian, whatever the hell. Because he sure was Native American. It's kind of funny to laugh at the movie, I will admit. So there's some kind of enjoyability, but it's still... Like, there's a bit where it's supposed to be a chopper being shot down, but it's just the chopper flies over the hill, and then you just hear the crash. You never see the crash, you never see a burst of fire, you never see the remains of the crash. It's just... There's a shot of the bad guys, and... Oh, like that. The dialogue is awful. There's this guy that kind of leads the posse, who there's a couple times Montana like gets him and, okay, you can be let go, just leave us alone. And at one point he goes, last time you threatened to blow my balls off. Now you're taking my pants? What, are you jealous? And this is another weird thing, like these kind of films, you want the main villains to get their comeuppance, but the land baron, you never see him get a comeuppance. His son, who helped initiate the attack on the girl in the first place, he doesn't really get a comeuppance. You're just assuming, oh, they'll come back as witnesses and eventually everything will be fine, but we never see that, and that's not really what you want in an action movie. You want the land baron to get shot in the face or blown up or something. But no. You don't get that in this movie, because it's shitty. Oh, when the Native American guy, he says the line, I'm not the fighter, I'm a lover. There's this big guy that I would bet money that this director wanted Robert Z'Dar for this bit. Because Robert Z'Dar was a bad guy in Samurai Cop. He was a bad guy in Killing American Style, whatever the hell it was called. But they don't have Robert Z'Dar in this. But there's a guy who's like a big guy that I'm guessing he wanted Robert Z'Dar. But I guess even Robert Z'Dar is like, fuck this, I ain't doing your movie, man. Or something. Well, it was 1990 to be fair, so... He was probably doing Maniac Cop 2. Much better choice, dude. Much better choice. Much, much better choice. But that big guy, and he takes the lead guy's girlfriend and impales her on a tree, but you barely see anything. Because they can't afford things like effects in this movie. And when he fights the big guy... I mean, like I said, Harold Diamond, like, you can tell he can move a bit with some kicks and punches, but Either they had no time to choreograph, or just the director, didn't know what he was doing. So to finish off the fight, there's like a pond, but the pond only goes like this high. So at first he's choking him with his legs around the big guy's neck, but like you tell like the water's here, so you think he's drowning, but his mouth is clearly off. Then they had the cut, and then now he's in a piece of the water where he's over. But here's the thing. The good guy has his legs on the bad guy's neck, choking it. But the big guy's arms is right here. And he's just doing this. I'm sitting there going, why don't you grab the legs? Why don't you turn around? Why don't you punch him in the balls? Why don't you try to pry the legs away from your neck? He just has his arms like this. I'm like, again, use your arms. You have arms. These things called arms that you could do shit with. He doesn't. Why? Because he needs to die there. Just the movie's fucking stupid. Eventually, the bad guys turn on the cops and kill them all except Stuart Whitman, who gets shot, but he's still alive. The good guys, Montana and the girl, they get over to see, I guess, Montana's buddies, which I guess they are gypsies, nomads, bikers, whatever as well. Bad guys come in, and then there's just people shooting. People shooting each other in very blasé fashion. There's no big squibs. There's no big choreography. It's kind of just shoot, going around, shoot. Nothing to it. That goes on for too long. Is forgettable. And gets repetitive very quickly. Even Stuart Whitman joins in to shoot a few bad guys. Until Montana gets the leader of this posse. It's funny, there's moments where you have up close to the bad guy's face and the punch going poo, 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 which made me laugh. Looked like the Three Stooges saying poo, 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 poo. And then it's like ready to like break his neck, and then Stuart Whitman's like, "Don't do that, man." I'm like, you guys just killed like how many people? But this one guy, that'd be too awful. It's like, even you, Stuart Whitman, you just killed y'all killed a bunch of people. What's one more? But whatever. So I guess now the idea is, they handcuff that guy. Montana, come back with me and testify. Montana's like, stay here. You're safe here. And then she's like, wait, Montana. And then she goes with them. So I'm like, you guys said we can't testify because by the time we get over there, we're going to be killed. But now you don't testify anyway. I guess probably all his men are dead except the land baron and his son. So I guess now it is safe to testify, I guess. But yeah, these are really jaunty ass movies. They're kind of fun to watch because, like, to laugh at. I mean, let me put it this way. To laugh at them, there's more personality than a modern streaming shitty action film. Or the Alexander Nevsky, his films. Which is a guy who's Russian, who wants to be Arnold so badly, and he's not. These, at least, I didn't have a goofy, stupid quality nature to them. With the time period they were made, and the low budget, and the film quality, and how just awful things are, like a funny way. At least there's some type of enjoyment. But then you're like, well, why don't you just watch, I don't know, Excessive Force with Thomas Ian Griffith, Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth, I Come in Peace, various other movies. Some PM Entertainment films, like Last Man Standing with Jeff Wincott, or that's it. There's plenty of fun, legitimately good action films you can watch too. But if you're like of bad, this I'd rather watch than again a new action film streaming that would look just awful filters, bad CGI, and would have none of the charm of badness that these films do. But these are bad films, and this is a bad film. It's not as memorably funny as Samurai Cop, but not many films are. It was interesting to see the guy who's the stiff fighter in Rambo 3 as the star of a film, but this didn't do him any any service, didn't help him out. So, take that for you will. Wonder if Stallone ever saw this movie. Hey, I know that guy. I fought him in Rambo 3. Probably not. Damn Stippy. But yeah, that's Gypsy. I would say what a gyp, but people find that offensive. But thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.